Hey guys, Youngblood with you, actually playing some Elite Dangerous after some of you guys had mentioned the CQC update, and I hadn't really tried it out yet, so I decided to go ahead and jump in and give it a shot. Now, for those of you that aren't sure what this is, it's kind of a separate entity from open or private play. You know, it's sort of like Arena Commander in Star Citizen, whereas it's fast-paced, it's small maps, where I'd probably actually describe it mostly like an Arena Commander meets a Call of Duty. Now, don't take that in a negative way, though, because while I haven't played a ton of it yet, I have enjoyed the time that I've put into it so far. You know, everyone starts out in a F-63 Condor and then unlocks ships and weapons as you move up in rank. Now, the good thing about that is it opens up much more, or I guess it kind of gives much more of an even playing field overall. And I always kind of wanted to fly one of these little F-63 Condors anyways after seeing them in combat zones, so it's like, hey, I kind of get a free trial out of it. So the more kills and the more points that you earn, the more that you're going to rank up, then kind of allowing you to get the new gear. So from what I've read, there's a total of 50 ranks, but kind of like in Call of Duty, you get to kind of prestige at the top and then slide back down to number 1 and do it all over again, giving you that replayability if this is kind of your type of game. Now, a nice perk is that you actually get to earn access to a couple different starports in the open play for those of you that have decided to play in prestige in the CQC Championship. I did want to point out that the video that you're watching in the background is actually my very first match in CQC. So you might get a kind of an idea of, you know, what it's going to be like in your first match too, or just to kind of see what that experience was like. Now, as far as the content goes, the games have been a lot of fun. You know, the maps are small, like you would expect, and tend to be fairly littered with asteroids to kind of hide you, you know, and kind of gives you some like areas where you can kind of run away from your enemies, or potentially run into and crash and die. Now, another interesting thing to kind of take away with this is that unlike in the primary open universe, you actually lose radar contact with the enemy when you lose a visible connection. So if that person that you've been following ducks behind an asteroid or a station wall, you're going to end up losing them on your radar too. And I think that's kind of a nice change and something that really goes a long way towards making it different and engaging. Now, they're kind of well-designed maps overall, and it's really been fast-paced, at least by Elite standards, and the games are just flat-out enjoyable. Now, to my knowledge, there's 5 different maps that you can play. I don't think I've hit them all yet, and a couple different game modes that you can play, like Capture the Flag, Deathmatch, or a Team Deathmatch. Now, it's obviously always important, but when you've got folks that are ganging up on you, especially on a small, controlled map like this, it's really important to get good with your pip management, you know, as far as your shield management goes. You know, learning when to put all of your, you know, power to weapons or all your power to engines and all that kind of stuff. There's also things sort of littered around the course that you can actually destroy, and then you can end up opening up new pathways around the course. Now, the only thing that I don't really care for from an ideal standpoint is the power upgrades, and I actually haven't found a ton of these yet. And I'm not really sure why there's a real need to have weapon boost and stealth modes and shield refills and those sorts of things, all because you were in the right place at the right time. There's not a real need from it from a gameplay perspective, so it makes me wonder why it's there at all. But other than that, if you're like me and you haven't booted up Elite in a while, I'd say it's worth checking out. I mean, you've already paid for the game, you may as well try out all the content. Either way, though, I'm going to keep playing it a bit more, and if I think it's got staying power, or it's something that's going to be worth playing for extended periods of time, I'm going to end up doing a follow-up video showing off some of the other maps and some of the other gameplay. Now, the current iteration of CQC is in the stress test that you need to download from the launcher. However, it's almost over, meaning it'll be on live within the next few days, if I got the right timeline down. So if you have any questions about this, let me know. Otherwise, stay tuned for a whole lot more content. Have yourselves a great day, and take care.